I was diagnosed with HIV in London on the 14th of September 1995, and anyone diagnosed with HIV never forgets the day they were diagnosed.
I was diagnosed with HIV on the 6th of August 1991.
June 2019.
Like early 2020.
2011.
You were born with HIV. Your mother was also living with HIV, so that is how you got infected with the virus.
I'd been travelling through Africa on a motorcycle, and I only had the HIV test because I needed to get a 3-month visa for Russia.
Like in all honesty, life wasn't the best.
I was working in a paralegal role and I had started studying law.
That time was like, I would say it was a fun time, but like when I look back now, it was not a fun time.
Studied photography for a couple of years. Then I moved into film.
I had been working as a motorcycle courier, which was all part of my world motorcycle journey.
Of course, I had questions of what about the other children that I'm living with in the house. So they had to explain to me, you know, you're living with HIV, so your mother, I had lost my mother by then.
I wasn't really looking after myself. I was a bit of a party animal.
Lots of parties, a little bit of recreational drug taking.
I was going out every weekend, using drugs.
I was a road warrior.
Working in nightclubs and stuff like that for a few years, and was kind of a bit lost at the time, yeah.
Unfortunately, in the mid-1990s, because my HIV infection had progressed to AIDS, I didn't think that I would have time to finish my law degree. So I stopped studying then, and I was out of the workforce and not studying for about 20 years after that.
The level of knowledge at the time in Uganda, I should say, was very, very low, and there was so much stigma and discrimination that was happening. So it was really very intense for people who had got to stages of like having AIDS, people who are ill and they're in hospitals. Even up to now, I really think about what people went through.
From that moment, when I was diagnosed with HIV, my world fell apart.
I got very upset. I got very angry.
I was very numb because I was like, my life was in like a mess at that time.
I remember reading the SMS and it said something like, you have to come back to the doctor's office because there was an issue with your test and we have to do it again. And something in my gut told me that something wasn't right.
It came as not a complete surprise because I'd certainly done everything necessary to get HIV.
You know, the whole incident of my one unguarded moment in Africa didn't even cross my mind.
All I really remember is like, oh, you've got to wear a condom, but there was not real much context around it because I was outside of the HIV, crisis of the 80s.
I'd been practicing safe sex for quite a long time, and I hadn't got ill when a lot of other people around me were getting ill. So I thought maybe I had managed to avoid it, but no, that wasn't the case.
I walked into that clinic to get my results for the HIV test, feeling happy and elated and looking forward to studying Russian in Moscow for the winter, to walking outside and everything was grey and dark and I didn't feel like I had any future.
So everything changed, I guess. Like I didn't have a job. I lost my friends.
I will never forget about one partner that I had a couple of years back. He told me a lot of mean things. He told me I was going to get deported. He told me that I was going to be living a really sad life, that I was going to jail because I never told him.
Are you ready for this? So the first person that I told was a day or two later. I went home and I told my boyfriend, who I was living with at the time. I told him that I'd been diagnosed with HIV, and he said to me, well, that's that then. And he went into the bedroom and he packed his bag and he left, and I never spoke to him again.
And I guess that's something that shows, and it's palpable proof that there's a lot of people that are misinformed about what living with HIV is. I did not cry that much. It wasn't that dramatic as I thought it was gonna be. I guess it was because I already had friends who taught me that you can live a normal, healthy life.
I just remember I was really thankful that my friend was there, because doing it alone wasn't going to be fun.
It wasn't until I went to the women's support group in London, so this was like 3 weeks after I was diagnosed in September '95, that I decided, life was worth living.
I shared my diagnosis to a friend that I was working for at the time, because he was HIV positive, and I called him and I was like, oh, guess what? I'm HIV positive as well. And he's like, it was nice because like it felt close and he gave me a hug.
I found out that, other friends are being diagnosed. So I think a lot of my immediate circle became, my group to turn to.
I had met women who had been living with HIV at the time, this was in the mid-90s, for 4 and 5 years, and they were healthy and beautiful, and that really gave me a lot of hope for the future.
I went back to uni at a mature age student, and now I'm a physio.
And I got sober, then I started processing things.
I went back in 2013 and re-enrolled in law and completed my law degree, and I'm working as a lawyer now.
The biggest difference between when I was diagnosed and the life I live today is the fact that I'm not fearful of people finding out that I'm living with HIV. Kind of the biggest step I made for my own well-being was when I got to the point where I was completely out about HIV. And the future now is I'm me, I'm a writer, I'm an author, I'm a motorcyclist, I'm a strong woman and living my life. And I also happen to have HIV, big deal.